Hello, welcome to the today's lecture on variable attenuator. In previous lectures, we have watched the definition of attenuators and fixed attenuators, where we discussed that a device which attenuates certain amount of power is the attenuator. Let us suppose an attenuator which attenuates 90% of the power and it allows 10% of the power, it will be a 10 dB attenuator. And the attenuator which will attenuate 99% of the power and allows 1% of the power to go to the output is a 20 dB attenuator. But that were the fixed attenuators. Now we want to see the variable attenuators. Variable attenuators are those attenuators which can be used to provide continuous or a stepwise variable attenuation. Continuous or a stepwise variable attenuation. Okay. Let us suppose, as for example, the same attenuator may be used for the 50% of the attenuation, 60% of the attenuation, 65% of the attenuation, 80% of the attenuation, 85% of the attenuation, 90% of the attenuation, 95%, 100% of the attenuation. So, depending upon the things and depending upon the methodology, we can change the attenuation by our own. If we can change the amount of attenuation in an attenuator, then this attenuator will be known as variable attenuator. So there are two types of variable attenuators. One is flap type attenuator and another one is band type attenuator. Okay, so we will see one by one. Okay, so first one is the flap type attenuator. Okay, this one is the flap type attenuator. And as we define, what is variable attenuator? It is an attenuator which is used to provide continuous or stepwise variable attenuation for rectangular waveforms. Okay, so first one is flap type variable attenuator. So this is the example of flap type variable attenuator. So it is a waveguide and there is a slot, rectangular slot, and rather this is a longitudinal rectangular slot. Longitudinal means along the length of the waveguide. So this is a longitudinal slot. Okay, and this is a resistive flap. This is a resistive flap which will absorb the microwave energy. Let us suppose energy is given is being provided from here, this in, and as we move this flap, so it will go deeper into this one, this slot. So as it will go in deeper into this slot, it will absorb the power. And degree of insertion will govern the attenuation. More insertion, more attenuation. Because there is a more insertion, there will be a more absorption and hence more attenuation. So it works on this. Okay, in degree of insertion governs the attenuation. The flap should be designed. This flap should be designed such that the attenuation should vary linearly with the depth of insertion. Okay, the attenuation should vary linearly with the depth of insertion. Okay, for let us suppose 1 mm of insertion, let us suppose 5% of the attenuation is done. For the 2 mm of insertion, 10%, and so on. So it will make our calculations easy. There may be a non-linear uh, attenuation also, but we prefer the linear attenuation. So we should design this flat length, width, and material should be chosen such that it attenuates linearly with its depth of insertion. Okay, so this one is the flap type attenuator, variable attenuator, and second one is the rotary or van type attenuation. Okay, so this is uh, rotary type or van type attenuation is shown here, rotary van attenuator. So this is the van, movable van. Okay, and this van is made up of glass. This van is made up of glass, and there is a coating of aqueduct or carbon. Okay, this van can be used as a variable attenuator if it is made movable. Okay, if it will move, okay, then variable attenuation may be achieved. Okay, so there are two type of things. First of all, we can move it laterally, let us suppose from lower into the upper end. Okay, so as most of the power flowing through the waveguide are concentrated at the center, are concentrated at the center. So if mm, this movable attenuator will be at the center, attenuation will be maximum. So first of all, we will find the location where the attenuation is maximum, and then we will rotate it. Then we can rotate. Okay, so as it will rotate, since this dimension is smaller and this dimension is larger, so as it will rotate clockwise, so it's the attenuation will be moved, because the effective width, this will increase with the rotation. Okay, so it will depend at which angle, okay, this is placed. Okay, so more least attenuation will be when the theta is equal to 0. When theta is equal to 0 and its this width is very small, so attenuation will be very small. And as this theta increases, the attenuation increases. Okay, and theta is in, it just started from here. Okay, so let us suppose this is theta, and the attenuation has increased, and at the theta equal to 90 degree, when it will rotate like this, so maximum dimension will come along this one at your width, so maximum attenuation will be there. Okay, so its sign variation is there. It varies according to the sine theta. Okay, so this is the working of this one, and we may watch the S matrix of this um, rotary van attenuator also. So let us suppose if the resistive card in the center section is kept at an angle theta relative to the E field, as I told in some time before, that it depends upon the theta. Okay, so the component E cos theta parallel to the card will get absorbed. The component which will be parallel to the cord will be absorbed, and the component perpendicular to the card will be transmitted. Okay, so attenuation will be at the first is here also and here also. Okay, so what will happen, this latter component finally appears as electric field component E sin square at the output of rectangular waveguide. The attenuation of the waveguide is given by this one. Okay, E is the input power and E sin square theta is the output power. It is lesser because sin theta is less than 1, so sin square theta will also be less than 1. So this one is lesser than the upper E quantity. Okay, so E and E will get cancelled and it will be 1 upon sin square theta. And what is alpha? Alpha is again 1 upon transmission, 1 upon transmission coefficient. So 1 upon magnitude of S21. So alpha in dB, if we will take the 20 log, so what will happen? 20 log sin square theta. So it may, and this square will come outside and it will look like minus 40 log sin theta. So this is the attenuation. This attenuation is very sinusoidally with the theta. Okay. Hence, the precision rotary attenuator produces attenuation which depends only on the angle of rotation of resistive core with respect to the incident wave polarization. Okay, so with respect to the electric field, attenuators are normally matched reciprocal devices so that S21 will be equal to S12. So S11 or S22, VSWR minus 1, VSWR plus 1 will be equal to 0. Okay. Since VSWR is 1, if this VSWR is equal to 1, means it will be equal to 0. Okay. So the S matrix of ideal precision rotary attenuator by using equation 1 and 3 is given. Okay, it will be 0 sin square theta, sin square theta 0. So I hope you have understood about it. And last one is the ferrite attenuator. So what is the ferrite attenuator? Ferrite attenuator is constructed in such a way that it attenuates a specific microwave frequency and permits all other to pass unaffected. Let us suppose there is a frequency from 1 gigahertz to 10 gigahertz. So 4 gigahertz to 5 gigahertz frequency will be attenuated, and from 1 to 4 gigahertz will pass and 5 to 10 gigahertz will also pass. So it is also be considered as the band reject filter. Certain range of the frequency will not be allowed to pass. Okay, so this is the ferrite attenuator where we need to stop certain frequencies from reaching to any device where there we use this ferrite attenuator. Okay, so this is done by placing a ferrite in center of the waveguide as shown in the figure below. Ferrites are placed in such a way that the magnetic field caused by its electrons are perpendicular to energy in a wave. Okay, so there is an electric field. Okay, that is, let us suppose we are providing from here. So let us suppose this is the electric. Okay, there may be electric field, no problem. There may be some electric field, so it will be like that. Okay, so this is electric. Okay, and ferrite material have electrons, free electrons, and whose they have uh, magnetic uh, spin magnetic quantities, some related to the spin of the electron, because if the electron will rotate like this, so there will be some magnetic. Okay, so magnetic field caused by electrons should be perpendicular to the flow of the energy. Let us suppose energy is flowing in this direction, so we place this ferrite such that the magnetic field that is produced with due to the spin of the electron should be perpendicular to this direction of propagation. Okay, so by doing this, we can achieve the certain frequency will be attenuated. Okay, so this is the construction. This is nothing but the ferrite. Okay, and this ferrite will decide which frequency will be stopped. So by varying this ferrite material, we can change the stop frequency. Which frequency is to be a stop? It depends totally upon the ferrite. If ferrite material is changed, the attenuated frequency will be changed. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for watching this lecture, and I hope you must have got some benefit. In next lecture, we will watch the phase shift. Phase shift. Okay, so phase shifter is a very good device. Which, if we are giving the uh, electric field here, and after reaching, it will be tilted with some angle. Okay, so this is the phase shift. Okay, so phase will be shifted. So how phase shifter works and how the phase shifter may be constructed, we'll see in the next lecture. So thank you very much. Okay, thank you.